You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, in case you guys did not know this, the Chicago Bears aren't the only one that's got some drama when it comes to their new potential stadium location. I mean, the Bears talking about moving to Indiana. The Chiefs, we know they're going to Kansas. Well, Cleveland is staying kind of local, right? Pretty local. Brook Park, Ohio. And they're building a new stadium. In fact, I believe they dug an 80-foot hole the other day. Maybe that's where you put your hopes and dreams of this new stadium. I don't know. I'm sure this will get resolved, ? I guess. But, the funding for this stadium, and just in case you don't know the specifics, it's 15 minutes west of downtown Cleveland. It's a $2.4 billion, 67,000-seat dome facility scheduled to open in 2029. And, of course, as with most of these new stadiums, there's going to be, of course, a lot of different things involving the stadium. Year-round facilities, fully enclosed in a roof. There's going to be a 3,000 to 4,000 seat music venue. What there's not going to be, until they get this figured out, is money for it. Because they were going to use what they're calling unclaimed funds to help fund this stadium. Except now they're not. At least for the foreseeable future. I mean, they could resolve this in 2 days, and then that's still the foreseeable future, but you get my point. Cleveland.com. Tapping unclaimed funds for sports venues, including Brown Stadium, blocked with lawsuit pending. A Franklin County Court of Common Pleas magistrate put on hold the state's plan to transfer billions of dollars in unclaimed funds to sport arenas, including the Browns' new stadium. Magistrate Jennifer D. Hunt determined Monday, March 9th, that the plaintiffs demonstrated a substantial likelihood of success on their claims. They argued that provisions in last year's budget violate both the takings and due process clauses of the Ohio Constitution. Hunt's preliminary injunction means the state can't tap funds held in the Unclaimed Funds Trust Fund, say that a bunch of times in a row, while a lawsuit over using unclaimed funds is ongoing. The Ohio Attorney General's office is, quote, reviewing the decision and determining the next steps, says spokeswoman Bethany McCorkle. Cleveland.com Plains dealer reached out to a Brown spokesperson for comment on Monday. The suit was filed last summer on behalf of 3 unnamed Cuyahoga County residents and other Ohioans with unclaimed funds by attorneys Jeff Crossman and Mark Dan. They argued Ohioans who have assets in the unclaimed trust fund weren't offered sufficient time to get their money out. Oh, shit. Quote, this is a victory for every Ohioans and their constitutional rights, Crossman said. The court recognized that the state cannot simply declare private property abandoned and take title to it without constitutional safeguards. I'm going to tell you what's interesting about this, too. How many people never even thought to check to see if they got unclaimed funds? The more this makes its way into the news cycle, and it gives a bunch of people some added, maybe I should check and make sure I don't have funds in there. That could get kind of interesting, because if there's a lawsuit, I'm sure more people could get added to it in theory. Dan said the state long has failed to reunite property owners with their funds while sitting on nearly $5 billion in private property. That sounds like a heist. quote, instead of fulfilling its fiduciary obligations, the legislature tried to permanently confiscate this money for a private sports project. Do we want to use the word steal? Let me reread that with a different word. The legislature tried to permanently steal this money for its private sports project. I'm just saying, it's funny how if you change one word, it hits a little different. But that sure sounds like what they're accusing in the situation. They're just trying to be cute with it. The court's ruling confirms that private property rights cannot be swept aside for economic development schemes, row, no matter how they are packaged. This is a significant day for constitutional protections in Ohio. Cross and Dan's class action lawsuit, challenges a section of 2-year budget lawmakers passed last summer that allows the unclaimed funds to be deemed abandoned and transferred to the state. That is kind of interesting. Hey, we're just going to go in, do some little lawmaker shit and say, okay, it's abandoned. We're going to use it. Approximately $1.7 billion to $1.9 billion was scheduled to transfer from the unclaimed trust fund to its new sports facilities account on January 1st, 2026, including $600 million, which was for the construction of Brown Stadium in Brook Park. Before Monday's decision, judges issued 2 temporary orders halting the funds transfer. Hunt said the budget law fails to require any notice be given to the owners that the state will take title to their funds. Wow. Violating due process requirements. Again, the word steal uses it. Additionally, she said the economic or financial benefits of the sports stadium are insufficient to satisfy constitutional requirements that are taking people's funds for, quote, public use as required by Ohio Constitution. Good God. Delays could increase construction costs. The Haslam Sports Group might need to cover additional expenses in the meantime, potentially paying interest on loans or using money currently held in investments. The Browns have already started excavation work on the new stadium, which is designed to have the field 80 feet below ground level so as to not disrupt air traffic at nearby Cleveland Hopkins International Airport. An official groundbreaking ceremony for the new stadium is scheduled for April 30th. Wow. What a mess. Confiscate the funds. They said, let's create a law and we'll put some arbitrary bullshit time limit on people to come get their funds, but we're not going to let them know that funds may be sitting there. And of course, now that this story is getting around, again, people may be like, maybe I should check to see if I got any funds that are just being held there. Somewhere Jimmy Haslam, he pulling his old gray ass hair out. God, the Temu Jerry Jones. You can't make this shit up. New stadium opening in 2029 with your quarterback Deshaun Watson. After he has some mediocre season but earns a contract extension. I'm kidding, but I'm kind of not at the same time. And you know damn good and well, Jimmy Haslam has concocted this entire new stadium Arch Manning quarterback wet dream in his head. And now this looks really freaking like, grenade. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.